This is my first kayaking trip of the year, which is not bad because it's March. I know in the Rockies, especially in Alberta, it's probably minus 15 Celsius right now. But in New Brunswick, it's like a spring day. This is sort of an in-between video because I don't have a lot of important things to show you or talk about. I'm just kind of taking it easy. But there's a few things that I have done, both at the cabin and with the trailer. Just little tweaks I thought I'd mention. In the winter time when I visit the cabin, especially if I haven't been here for a few days, I open up the window, see what's happening out there, I go to the thermometer, check the temperature, and then I go to the power station. As the power station is always on, 24 hours a day now, it operates a few small lights and motion detectors, stuff that I think should be on while I'm not here. And I also operate the fan as well. Anything that's very low current and can run on DC doesn't have much effect on the power station. It does use up some energy though, and every few days I've got to charge it up. But when it's below zero or just zero, it's a bit of a concern because power stations like this do not charge below freezing. They'll shut off. The battery management system will kick in so that you can't actually charge. Now, this particular power station I'm not overly pleased with. I've said that in a couple of videos ago. So I call it Brand X for the time being. And the best feature about it was not the power station, it was the packing it came in, because it's got this wonderful foam. And so what I did is I made a little case around it. It insulates it, and underneath I made a small cavity so I could have a 10-watt personal heating pad. And that is enough to warm it up. I just come in the morning, I plug that in, and within 20 minutes I can actually charge with my solar panel. Right now, it's at 59%, so it's used a considerable bit in the last day or so. And it's using 14 watts, is because it's got these lights on right now. And I actually found the heating pad only uses 4 watts, even though it's rated for 10. But I'm going to let that sit for about 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I might as well set up the solar panel so we can get a little juice into this. Now, I'm sure I'd benefit from a wheel, but the thing is, it never has to go back into the cabin. It just has to be moved around during the day. Now I've got morning sunlight. Point it to the east. That should do it. Well, that's about 20 minutes. I think it's warm enough that I can plug the solar panel in. Now, to show you how much wattage is coming in, again, this is just a quirk of this little thing. I actually have to plug everything that's taking power out first, and then I can plug in the solar. And there we go. And let's just see what we get. 346. That's pretty good for a 400 watt panel. 355. 359. Whoa, it's a clear day. I think I've got it perfectly aimed, so that's good. It's not going to take a long time to charge up. 59, I would say before lunch at least, it should be 100% charge. Awesome. And I can keep these in. I just had to take those out to show you what the charge was. Everything's good now. Well, here's the inside of the camper. You probably haven't seen it for a while because I haven't really done much since I was in New Hampshire. Still got the Dickinson heater, and I still have the window coverings for winter camping. But now I've got to prepare it for spring. And so far I've only made a couple of minor improvements, and one was to the outside light. The outside light had a switch on the outside to turn it on and off, which seems fair. But what if you're inside the trailer at night and somebody knocks on the door? You can't turn the switch on because it's outside. You don't know who it is. So I installed a switch on the inside. That way I can control the lights inside the trailer, or I can control them outside. Best of both worlds. Now my firewood may not be the conventional kind you typically see in a firewood shelter, because there's not the pile of logs and cords piled up in the back. There are a few, but mostly they're 2x4 cut-offs, because I found out there was a local mill in town that made pellets, and they cut these off and they throw them away. So why pay somebody to cut down a tree when I can just salvage what somebody's going to throw away anyway? And I also have a pile here of the wood that I've used in my renovations. I use it as well, as long as it hasn't been treated. And over there you see I do have an actual bunch of logs there, but that was from a tree that fell in a big storm. It's going to take a couple of years to season, but I am piling that up, and there is some dead wood on my property I could use. But for now, why not just recycle? I'm not here long enough, you know, I only stay here for a few hours in the winter time, and in the summer, I'm not going to need this anyway. Win-win. Oh, this is a beautiful spot. Water's so clear. Now this section is certainly a work in progress, and I haven't made a lot of progress with it lately. I mean, when I made this wall and I put in this new window, all I did was put drywall up, so it hasn't been framed, and yeah, it's drywall. But it's the back here that's the biggest issue. When I first got this cabin, there's a counter and a corner cupboard right at the entrance, and I just shoved it back here thinking it would look okay. But it doesn't. It's hog ugly, and it's not what I need. This is just taking up space, and it's just not going to work. But it's the counter. Again, there's really nothing worth restoring here, and it's got a sink in the middle, and I'm just sort of thinking, first of all, do I need a kitchen sink and a bathroom sink right beside each other in the same small cabin? Can I not have one? And that's what I'm kind of thinking with that. I think this area would actually be good for just a stovetop burner. You know, just a 2-burner stove would be fine there. But the rest of it, I really got to work on it. Now I had bought some pine. This is some thin pine board that I got from a local mill, and I think I could put that up on the walls. That should look a lot more attractive. It's really rough though. I've got to at least sand it down and preserve it before I put it up. And this is kind of stopping me from doing the flooring. I've had a pile of flooring there for like months. I wanted to do the walls first before I did the flooring, and I haven't finished the walls. So I think I got some sanding to do at least. It doesn't have to be super smooth, just enough to take the roughness off and show a little bit of the grain. I'm sure when many people think of the Maritimes, they think of storms, rough waters, but it can be calm and peaceful here as well. Like right now. I guess it doesn't pay to brag sometimes. One day it's nice and warm, go out kayaking. The next day a nor'easter blows in. And it's like this, back to winter. It's one thing you can say about New Brunswick weather. It's never boring. Oh, it's in my eye. One good thing about having your solar panels on the ground is it's easy to clean them. Before the storm hit, I managed to at least sand 10 boards, which will give me a good start. And just for your reference, those 10 boards that I used an AC sander for, they used up 35% of my power. So I think I'm going to be looking for a battery-powered sander next time. It'll just save a little bit of energy. The rest of the cabin, I was trying to do like a weathered, rustic, old wood sort of feel. But I think for the kitchen, I'd like it fresh and new. So I'm not going to age these boards. I'm going to stain them instead. I've got some Minwax poly shades. This is classic oak. And I did try that. And I think it looks pretty good in the test. I've got the stove up, so it's actually nice and warm in here. It's warm enough that I can dry paint, which is exactly what I want. But it's not going to last long, so I better get to it. Now, one other thing I wanted to improve on was the seal around the door, because I noticed, especially when I was winter camping, there was drafts coming, especially around the outside of the door. The door was colder, and when there was wind and rain, I'd see moisture right around the bottom, and it would be going in the trailer. Now, it does have a black foam seal right around the door and right around the frame of the camper, and they made up. But there were a few gaps, so rather than replace that, what I did is I put a little bit more weather stripping on the outer edge. It's right close to that black foam, goes right around it. I wanted to do the entire door, but I found when I put it around the latch it would bind and the door wouldn't shut. So I at least got all of the bottom and all of the inside done. Now let me show you what I used. It's by Polar Bear, and it's premium foam EPDM tape. There's the box, but let me just show you a little piece of it, give you an idea of what the profile is. You see it's hollow on the inside, and it's ribbed on the outside with self-adhesive tape on the bottom, but it's very, very soft, and I think that ribbing's going to help with any moisture that tries to come in. It's going to have that wall. This should work, but I guess I really only know when I go out camping again. Well, okay, I didn't get a lot done in this video. Probably if I didn't take that kayak trip, I would have got more things done and I could finish the video. But you know what? Do I feel bad about taking the best day of the entire month and going kayaking? Hell no! I needed that break and I feel a lot better. I'm more energized because I was out in that kayak, out with nature, having a beautiful, wonderful day. Well, that was nice. Time to get back to reality. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my others as well.